All animals need to be accustomed towards handling or restraint, ensuring their own as well as their handler's safety. This will assist in better outcomes in a variety of situations or for different purposes like routine husbandry procedures, movement in and around the shed and other facilities, transportation for show purposes. All animals have a flight zone called the personal space in which the animal feels comfortable. It is the minimum distance the animal tries to maintain between itself and in any perceived threat. The size of the flight zone varies depending upon how calm or aggressive the animal is. Some points must be taken into consideration while handling farm animals. Never handle excited animals. The area immediately behind the tail of the animal extending up to 15 degrees on either side is treated as the blind spot, where the animal cannot perceive the handler. One should never approach the animal in the area of blind spot as it may get frightened and cause injury to the handler. At least wait for 30 minutes. Animals express fear or alarm under stress through their behavioral symptoms. Cattle, they are especially sensitive to the contrasts. Cattle are colorblind and have poor depth perception. Contrasting situations should be avoided in the farm. Cattle confined to a small space have a smaller flight zone than those kept in a large area. An understanding of the flight zone of the animal can help the handlers to reduce stress and prevent accidents. Animals are frightened by high-pitched noises. When cattle are moved quietly, they remain calm and easy to handle. Point of balance is the imaginary point located on the animal's shoulder, which divides the animal's body into two portions, that is front and the rear portion. If the handler crosses this hypothetical point in the front direction, the animal generally moves backwards. But if the handler stays in the rear end, the animal moves in the forward direction. Cattle usually kick in forward direction, then kick out and back in a swinging motion. The animal health worker must be aware of this kicking habit to avoid injury to self and to the animal. Method of restraining dairy animals. To restrain head movement, apply halter on head of the cow. Casting of dairy animals. To make the animal lie down on the ground using ropes. Casting, it is needed for various operations such as dehorning, castration, hoof trimming and treatment, etc. There are two commonly used methods for casting, crisscross and Reeves method. Reeves method. Initially, the cow is being held by a halter and tied it on a pole, a pipe, or a tree. 3 persons or operators they are required for this type of casting. Approximately 27 feet or 9 meters rope will be required. Tie one end of the rope on the neck of the animal using sliding with thumb knot that will prevent strangulation in animal. Make roll of the entire rope and apply half hitch knot around the chest immediately behind the elbow. Make another half hitch around the abdomen just in front of the udder or the scrotum in case of male. Make sure that the level of both the hitches should be at shoulder blade level. Finally, the rope is pulled by the person backwards and animal falls down on the ground. Operator 1 immediately will apply the glove hitch with sliding knot to tie the legs by pulling the right front leg towards rear and both the hind legs in front. Crisscross alternate burley method of casting. Cow is held by the halter and tied it on a fixed object such as tree or pole. For the casting of animals, assistance of minimum of 3 persons will be required. In this method, 45 feet or 15 meter rope is required. Fold the whole length by bringing 2 ends together and make roll of each end of the rope from both the ends in such a way that from the center of rope it can be divided into 2 equal parts. Hold the rope rolls by 2 independent persons, that is operator 1 and operator 2, from both the sides of animal and place the center of the rope on the neck just in front of the wither of animal. Pass the rope underneath and between the forelegs and exchange with each other so that it crossed at the sternum. After that, both the rolls carried out up on the dorsal side of the animal's body and the 2 are crossed again over the back of animal. Then again each roll passes downward between the rear legs going between the inner surface of the rear leg and under the udder in case of female or scrotum in case of a male animal. Now both the ends of the rope they are held by one person, that is operator 1. Operator 2 holds the head of the animal and tilts head on left side so that when animal falls on the ground, its head and neck won't hurt. Operator 3, third person, put pressure on the left side of the body on the thoracic region of the animal so that the animal may fall down on the right side. Operator 1 immediately will apply the glove hitch with sliding knot to tie the legs by pulling the right front leg towards rear and both the hind legs in front. Always gauze the animal on clear sunny days to avoid unnecessary stress. A well pulverized soft ground without any pebble or sharp edged objects should be used for casting of animals. If possible, it is desirable to off-feed the animal before 12 hours of casting. The rope should be strong and soft. Animal must be thrown on the right side. Casting should be planned when sufficient labor are available at the farm. Don't use coconut rope or hard nylon rope for casting of animals. Don't throw the animal on the left side. It may upset the digestion and may cause bloat. Don't cast the pregnant animal as it may cause injury to developing fetus. In an emergency, then cast the animal on its left side. Sheep move when you enter their flight zone. The closer you get, the faster they will move away. When shifting sheep, you can manage their speed by how close you get to them. Likewise, if you want the sheep to stop moving, step out of their flight zone. Like large ruminants, there are two balance lines. One run across the sheep's shoulder, the other along its backbone. The key to handling goat is also understanding goat behavior. It allows handling techniques to be applied which optimize the welfare of both the goat and the handler, as well as productivity and profitability of the enterprise. Sheep and goat from early days of life must be used to or conditioned to human handling. Goats have a panoramic field of vision of 320 degree to 340 degree with only a small blind spot behind them with a binocular vision of 20 degree to 60 degree. This means they can detect movement behind them without moving their heads, so if approached from behind, they will turn to look at you. Stay out of the blind spot directly behind the animal. So some points which should be taken care for handling: one must be sure in its action, commanding cue voice, calm and steady. Inside the shed, first identify the animal to be restrained from the flock and try to separate it from the other animals. Never chase the animal, try to cover it. One panicked animal can transmit its fright to the entire flock, and a quiet standing group can become a bleating, circling, jumping, senseless mass of uncontrollable animals. As soon as you are close enough, place one of your hands under the jaw or chin of the animal and lift its head upward immediately to gain its control. With one hand under the chin, the other hand can be placed behind the dog or rear legs to prevent forward and rear movement. Leg or flank method. So when you are presented with the rear end of the sheep or goat, then try to grab the rear leg just above the hock with your hand. Keep the firm grip and lift the leg upward from ground. Casting by lifting method. Secure the animal and bend your body to lift front and rear leg. Lift the weight of animal against your thigh and slowly press down to the ground. Crisscross method of casting in sheep and goat. In this method, 15 feet or 4.5 meter rope is required. Rest of the procedure is similar as followed in casting of cattle. Straddle restraint. Oral medication, mouth and eye examination and temperature recording, they are easily performed when restrained in its normal standing position. Catch hold and grab the sheep in the jaw hold restraint. Swing one of your leg over its back so that you are astride the sheep as if you are going to ride it. Maintain control of the sheep's head with the jaw or chin hold. Halter restraint. Sheep can also be controlled with properly applied and fitted halter. Sitting up position in case of sheep on its rump. Approach the sheep from whichever side is open to you and catch it. Position yourself onto the sheep's left side. Hold the jaw or chin in your left hand and the dog in your right hand. The sheep's side should be against your legs. While controlling the sheep's lower jaw, bend its head sharply back over its right shoulder so that it is looking at its own rump. At the same time, press downward towards your legs with your right hand. Step backward a half step or so that the rear of the sheep's body will slide off your legs and onto ground. At this point, release the jaw and grasp the sheep's forelegs. Don't grasp the animal from its wool, hair and ears as it can be torn away from its body, leaving an injury. Not to catch the animal from tip of horn and tail. Successful handling of horse requires adequate communication with voice, touch and body language. Handler must think first of the horse and have affection and praise. The horse has an incredible memory and abusive handling is going to affect him a long time. Method to restrain head. Horse is generally secured by head collar or head stalls. Head collar consists of cheekpiece, noseband, jowl piece and throat lash. The rope attached to a head stall is called the head rope. Muzzle, a restraining equipment made up of leather, wire, rope is applied around the muzzle of an animal. A leather muzzle is preferred over the wire muzzle. Muzzle prevents animals from biting, tearing cloths, licking walls, eating its bedding and dung. Twitch. Twitch is a strong, stout wooden stick about 1 yard long, to one side of which is attached a rope about 18-inch long, loop through a hole. It is most commonly used appliance for restraining. It is applied on upper lip, lower lip or on the ears. Horse is haltered and held by an assistant on the off side or in the front. So take twitch stick under the right arm and stand on near side opposite the left shoulder. Hold the twitch loop on the left hand, leaving the index finger outside. Stroke down the face to its muzzle and hold the lower lip. Twist up the stick with right hand and the stick should point back. Gags. The gags are the appliances to keep the two jaws apart for examination of mouths. Various gags of use are Warnell's gag, Butler's gag, Horseman's or American gag. Horseman's gag is the most effective and useful gag. Restraining of neck. Neck cradles. 10 to 12 pieces of wood of 2 feet length and 1 inch diameter. They are strung on 2 pieces of cord. The whole is applied to the neck and tied at the crest region. The cradle prevents bilateral movement of the animal's head, that is turning and lowering the neck, and thus is useful in keeping him away from licking a wound on his body or legs. Manipulation of the feet. Lifting of forelimb. Approach the horse properly and stand by the side of the rear shoulder facing towards the back of the animal. Pass the left hand down the neck, wither, arm, forearm to forecannon. When operator's hand come down to this side, generally trained horses lift up the leg. In case he refuses to do so, grasp the back tendon and twist the skin over. This will make the horse to lift the leg. When the foot is raised, hold the toe with the back of the hand towards the horse's tail and fingers pointing to the front. Stand to attention close to the animal and in line with other forelimb. To lift the off foreleg, stand on the off side and use the right hand. Lifting of hind limb. Approach the horse properly and stand near the flank to his near side, facing to the back. Pass the left hand over the back, quarters, buttocks, thigh and hock. On reaching halfway down the hind cannon, draw the leg up, hold the front of hoof with the right hand and take a short stop towards the back side of the horse. Grasp the hamstring tightly with the left hand and rest the foot on your left thigh. To release the leg, remove the right hand from the toe, step backward, still holding hamstring and move away from the animal. To lift the off hind leg, reverse the arrangement. Single sideline and army sideline methods used to secure the hind legs. Sideline method for restraining hind legs. Just take a rope around the base of neck and secure it with simple sliding with thumb knot. Take the long end of the rope towards the rear side around the left hind leg and coil the length of the rope twice. The other end, when passed through the circle made on the neck and then drawn out to restrain the animal completely. Casting hobble method. One set of casting hobbles consists of 4 hobbles to chain 8 feet long, to which a rope of about 15 feet long and a spring D-catch are attached. 2 of the hobbles, they are exactly the same. One is master hobble, other is fallow hobble, similar to master, but master hobble has arrangement to secure the chain. This pair has metal D on longer strap and ring on the shorter strap. Position of hobbles. The master hobble is attached to the forepastern, which will be uppermost after the animal is cast. Fallow hobbles it attached to the opposite and hind to the master hobble and the other pair to the rear legs. The free end of longer straps should direct backward in case of those on forelegs and forward with those on the hind legs. The buckle should always be on the outside. Passing of stomach tube. Stomach tube is a hard white rubber tube of 9 feet in length and about 10 inches to 14 inches according to the size of horse. From this end is a mark and about 4 feet further along it is another mark. Lubricate the rounded end of the tube. An assistant restrains the horse by holding the ear by right hand and left hand is passed across the bridge of nose, standing on the near side of the horse. The operator stands on the off side of horse. Thumb of the left hand is placed in the ring upper interdental space and the fingers of left hand hold the tube on the floor of nasal cavity against the nasal septum. Push the tube 4 inches to 6 inches at a time, pausing a moment and then introduce another few inches. When first mark is at the nostril and round end is in the pharynx at this stage, let the horse swallow the tube. If he does not, induce him to do so by putting fingers in the interdental space. When the tube has entered the esophagus, on pushing the tube, there will be resistance along the muscular tube till the second mark is reached. When the second mark is reached, or it is at the nostril, the round end of the tube is entering the stomach. Push 4 inches to 6 inches more of the tube and then pour the medicine liquid or any syrup from the outer end with the help of funnel or stomach pump. The tube is withdrawn gently to avoid any damage to respiratory and digestive tract. The stomach tube should always be kept coiled so that it is rounded end of the tube will assume a slight curve. When the tube is not in use, plug both the ends to avoid entry of any dust, dirt or any insect. During passing of stomach tube, if horse coughs, means the tube might have entered into trachea, so withdraw the tube gently up to first mark and try again. Learning of tricks to catch whole poultry birds at the farm. It is an art which also needs handler's care and affection towards these tiny creatures. Catching and handling is important for various farm activities like to examine birds for its type and quality, to examine body parts for judging with minimum discomfort to bird. Handling of fowl from cage. Place one hand on the back of the birds and hold its legs with the other hand. Take out the bird from cage with its head first. Grasp the bird by its wings. Place one hand on the bird's back and slip other hand under the body, grabbing one leg between index finger and the thumb and other leg between ring finger and little finger. So this way the bird rests on the palm of the head, facing head towards the examiner, keeping one hand free for examination. To hold a bird for some time before the start of actual operation. Hold the bird from the base of the wing, or its movement can be stopped by entangling their wings to each other at the base to perform essential activities. To hold more than one bird at one time. 4 to 5 birds can be held in one hand by grabbing single leg of each bird. Handle the birds very carefully, gently, and only for most essential operations. Handle the birds during cooler hours of the day, either early morning or late evening. Catch the birds in dim light or at night. Catching birds in daylight disturb them too much, especially on deep litter system of housing. Birds should never be caught by neck or the feather. Never hold them by 2 legs. Differentiation between male and female. Differentiation between male and female chicken becomes important before start of a layer farm which will serve for egg production. So in this regard, we have to select only female to be reared. At maturity, it is very easy to identify the male from the female. Morphologically, male is easily be distinguished by having large body size, active and vigorous stature, large size of the wattle and comb, long and pointed neck feathers termed hackles, long and pointed back feathers termed saddle feathers, long and sickle-shaped tail feather, large size spur on shank. While females have small body size relative to male, small size of wattle and comb, short and round neck feathers and back feathers, short and straight tail feathers, small size or rudimentary spur on shank. Characters of good quality lyrebird. Some of the indicators reflected in morphology of a laying hen, which can ease the process of selection and culling to keep the farm in good economical state. By behavior, a good layer is normally alert to her surrounding and is not lazy. Comb, it is large, red, velvet and warm to touch. Eyes are bright and sparkling without any discharge. Vent, it is oval, dilated and moist. Distance between pubic bones more than 2 fingers indicates a good reproductive ability. Distance between breastbone and the pubic bone of more than 3 fingers represents good abdominal capacity. Loss of color, bleaching effect of yellow colored pigment in yellow skin breeds indicates their egg laying ability. Points to be kept in mind prior to handling of pigs. Pigs have quite poor vision, made worse in breeds with long floppy ears. They have a blind spot directly behind them and may become stressed if a handler suddenly appears out of the blind spot. They have a flight zone which may be large or small. It will dictate how close you should go to the pig to encourage it forward. After extensive handling, they feel comfortable with handler, which decreases their flight zone. Pigs have a good and quite sensitive hearing capacity. This also means that when entering a building housing pigs, as well as while moving them, you should do so quietly and slowly so as not to startle the pigs with a loud noise and cause undue stress. Pigs don't like to be moved individually and will become distressed and unpredictable when left alone or isolated. For this reason, it is best to move pigs in group of 5 or 6. Pigs cannot be led by the head. They must be driven from behind by using an open hand to tap on the rump or flank region to encourage them forward. Pigs have inquisitive nature for exploring new areas. This behavior should be used to aid in handling, allowing their curiosity of a new area to attract them forward and move in the desired direction. Lighting should always be uniform, minimizing bright spots and shadows that may cause them to walk and stop. Walls should also be painted a uniform color to prevent pigs shying at sudden changes in color. Non-slip flooring will improve the pig movement as they will feel more comfortable walking and reduces injuries from falls. Pigs will shy at a change in floor type, so try to reduce moving them across changing surfaces. Pigs should never be rushed as they will become stressed and panic. They can try to turn around and become very unpredictable. Install solid walls or aisles and races so that they do not get distracted and focus on walking forward. Handling young pigs. Piglets can be caught from behind and lifted by one or both hind legs. They are held by grasping the hind leg just above the hock. The small piglet can then be lifted by placing the other hand under the chest for support and avoid undue pressure on the leg joints when moving. Lift the piglet and hold so that it is in a horizontal position. Hold the piglet firmly to minimize the piglet's ability to move. Lower the piglet back to the ground, ensuring both front legs have contact with ground surface. Handling older pigs. A wall or corner can be used when handling middleweight animals. Ensure the area is large enough to perform the task safely but small enough to restrict the movement. Allow the pig to walk to its destination at its own pace at all times. Pigs will naturally head for an opening or a gap when approached. This can be used to move the pig by setting up and holding two pig boards either side of the pig head and guiding it where you want it to go. This method can be used to train the pigs to be moved by one handler using a pig board and a wooden bat about 1 meter long to maneuver the pig. The handler should always keep the pig board between himself and the pig. If several people try to drive a pig, it can turn around and charge back between them. Ensure the pigs cannot move forward. Apply gentle pressure with the pig board, your leg, to the hindquarters and flank of the pig to keep them still. Older full-sized pigs are much harder to restrain and may require the use of a pig catcher. Pigs can be restrained by holding it with ropes against a wall or a fence. Larger pigs can be restrained using a loop of rope around the snout. The size of the snare loop should be relevant to the size of the pig being restrained. Place the snare loop in the mouth and over the top jaw and snout of the pig, with the snare handle held vertically in the other hand. Move the loop as far back in the mouth as possible before tightening it. Hold the snare securely. A second person can then perform the required task. Release the pig as soon as possible by smooth loosening and releasing the snare, and then return the pig to its pen. Care should be taken not to snatch or swing the piglet as you lift it. Never pick a piglet up their ear. This can cause ear hematomas. When restraining pigs, ensure the area will not pose a risk of injury to pig or stockman, that is non-slip floor, flat sides, clear of distractions. When restraining pigs, ensure the required equipment for task is ready and immediately available to you in the handling area. Don't kick the pigs or use sticks, probes to directly hit the pigs. Pigs should not be restrained by snatching for prolonged periods. Don't attempt to move the pig by pulling the pig by the snare. Rabbits are prey animals. They have strong flight response and will make every attempt to escape when they feel threat. As rabbits get excited very quickly, they should not be approached suddenly. Methods of handling of rabbit. One hand grip method. Approach the animal properly. Hold the loose skin of rabbit in loin area with the palm of right hand. Lift the animal. This method is used to carry small and young rabbits. Two-hand grip method. Grasp the loose skin of neck with the help of palm of right hand. Lift the animal. Rest the animal on the palm of the left hand, which will bear the weight of rabbit. Lap method. Lift the rabbit with right hand, as in case of the two-hand method. Rest the animal on the left hand, set parallel and close to the body of handler. Release the neck of the rabbit with its head concealed in bend of elbow. This method is used to carry the rabbits to long distances.